All right, we talk pensions and now SMEs. How do SMEs strategize and manage their costs in a volatile pricing environment? Fuel subsidies removed, foreign exchange moving on up. Abuja Studios, we've got Nnanke Essien. She's the lead strategist at SiSa, and she joins us now to tell us more about that. Nnanke, good morning to you. Thank you so much for joining us. So what is this is what you do on a regular basis. What are you telling SMEs right now who are trying to find their footing in this current pricing environment?
Good morning, Rotis. Thank you so much for having me. I think what I would say to SMEs at this particular time is focus, because we need to cut out the fluff and pay attention to what is generating income at this time. So it will make sense to just focus on what's important now and cut out on every other thing that serves as a distraction. That's the first thing I would say.
What about, is it better to have a leaner team, a leaner depending on whether you're in logistics or whatever it is, should you focus on leaner staff?
Okay, so whilst that might be an immediate solution, it makes more sense to look at having a leaner staff from a more holistic standpoint. So paying attention to indices such as your current operations, the industry where you belong to, and even workload, because if you tend to have a lean structure and pour back all the responsibilities to another team, you might overburden them and you might end up having people who are less motivated to do the job vis-a-vis what your initial intention, was when you were thinking about reducing staff. So much as it looks like it's a pathway to optimizing operations or to reducing costs or to even optimizing work as well, it's important that you think about it holistically before you make that decision.
All right, exchange rates moving up and down, fuel prices changing. How often should strategy meetings be held in normal times and then in volatile times like this? Is it the same structure?
Okay, I would say that in volatile times like this, meetings should be more action focused and should be termed so. So if we are looking at meetings to reduce operations, we should pay attention to that. If we're looking at meetings to kind of review our progress, we need to pay attention to where we were before, where we are currently, where we are going to, and pay attention to those indices. If we are looking for cost allocation or cost effectiveness, as the case were, then we can have those meetings just so that we are identifying problems, we are discussing them, and we are solving them immediately without wasting so much time. If it was in normal times, you would have your strategy sessions every quarter, and some people would have MPRs every month just to understand where the progress of the company is. But in volatile times, we need to pay attention to the exact issues that we have, pay attention to discussing them and to solve them as they come. So it will be as frequent as the problems that you have or the problems that are facing the business at that particular time. All
right, great stuff. From a cost management perspective, should these frequent strategies, should they be outsourced to folks like yourself, or can they be done in-house?
Well, so it depends. If we have all our cards on the deck, then it's easier to outsource. But if we find that there are still issues that are in and around our goals, our objectives, or our vision as an organization, then outsourcing might be counterproductive. In such cases, you would have a steerer or a facilitator who would come into your operations to help you view and see the blind sides. Again, it's very important that when you're making these sort of decisions, you don't make them abruptly or you don't make them without considering all the factors. If there are still several legs in your business that are shaky, then you need to pay attention to bringing someone in to look at those and help you to align them properly. So it goes both ways, you see that?
Yeah. Thank you for the breakdown. All right, let me throw this curveball at you. For now, upward pricing in electricity tariffs has been postponed, right? But it will happen at some point once the government communicates it. How do you prepare for that whenever that is going to happen?
So like I said earlier, one of the strong suits for businesses at this point is really focus. Pay attention to income generating products, and this is not time to gloss over all your products, but to pay attention to the ones that are generating income for you and pay attention to those, because you will be servicing a market that needs your product, right? And you don't just want products in the market that do not serve your audience or does not give them the fullness of what they desire. So you might need to pay attention, you see, to products or to services that the market really needs so that you can get the income in. Now, on the flip side, you also want to pay attention to a lot of costs that might reduce for consumption for you, or even electricity consumption for you, for instance. So instead of having everyone come into your facility, you might decide to run shifts or work from home days, or some of those sort of policies that help you to mitigate, the cost of tariffs. If you're going to have a business meeting or a team meeting, or if you're going to have a board meeting, you can decide to do that in the workstation. Just some ways to be able to reduce costs and ensure that you're not putting the burden of the electricity tariffs on your own organization.
All right,
So
finally,
just share the cost.
Share the cost, makes sense. All right, finally, we're out of time, but what's your outlook? With where things are, what's your outlook for SMEs as we finish the year and go into, I guess, the second half of the year and into 2024?
So I think that we need to first come to the reality that things are going to be tough. I mean, our macros don't look so good with our minimal oil production and with the foreign exchange and some of the things we are seeing happening, including what we are talking about, electricity tariff and whatnot. So things are going to get tough, right? And then some real hard decisions need to be made across organizations, even families and individuals as well. So cutting back on even employees, cutting back on several areas that are not fruitful or are not producing a lot will be some of the immediate decisions you can make as an employer or as a business owner, right? But I'm definitely hoping that those at the helm of affairs can reduce, the level of pain that people are experiencing now and ensure that the gains outweigh the pain that we currently are experiencing. Strategy.
Nnanke Essien, lead strategist at SiSa. Thank you so much for your time. We appreciate your insights.